Good morning and happy Friday, the May 8th, everyone. It is, if you're living in Toronto, you woke up to a nice, cool spring day with the sun, the birds are out, the city's buzzing, and there's great momentum in the market. Today's episode, I'm doing a deep dive on the most commonly asked questions that I receive, not only as a local Toronto realtor, but as a real estate coach with Tom Barry. I'm super excited because this episode is called Ask Me Anything. So it's going to be a live episode, as it always is on Friday. And I'm going to be answering in real time the questions that I receive from today's viewers. I'm also going to highlight some of the most commonly asked questions that I receive. So there's some real good ones. And it's just going to be a very raw, authentic conversation, me sharing. And again, it's not that I'm the expert, not that I'm a guru, but it comes with 16 years of boots on the ground experience, all that kind of top achiever, top producer status. It comes with all of this. But again, it's just raw, authentic, my answers to the most commonly asked questions. But this is going to be a really fun episode, really exciting episode. And I had an agent ask me, like, aren't you going to be nervous though? Like, what happens if you don't know the answer to a question? Well, if I don't know, I'm just going to tell you that. Again, this is going to be a lot. A lot of the answers are going to be based around just experiences with regards to real estate. So I am going to make sure that I add comments to the stage so that we can see the questions in real time. Good morning, Sedge. Let's go. This is going to be a good one. Okay, so the comments are here. They're live. They're ready to go. And then I'm going to upload my slide deck so that you can see the answers to the most commonly questions that I get asked. My name is Stephen Kim, team lead of the Stephen Kim Group, a local real estate team based out of Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Welcome to another episode of No Agent Left Behind Masterclass, Real Results Tactical Mastery. And for today, it is an AMA. And I got this from my good friend, Tom Ferry, which is an Ask Me Anything class. So anything real estate related, everything's fair game. I'm going to give you my raw, authentic answers to the most commonly asked questions that I receive. So let's get started. Okay, so today we are going to be talking about the real answers to the questions that I receive all the time. So today I'm going to share with you, 10 to 13 of the most commonly asked questions that I get, right? I'm going to be talking about the 5 scripts, the 4 categories, right? And then ultimately just doing a deep dive into these questions. So let's get started. AI and visibility. This is a huge hot topic. AI and visibility. This is probably the most commonly asked theme of questions that I've been receiving late 2025 and into 2026. And this is session number 1. One question I get asked is this all the time. So, I would say 5 years ago, it was like, hey, Steve, hey, coach, how do I have a stronger Google presence, right? The Google Business Profile, GBP, for short form for all my realtor friends. It's now shifted to how do I become the agent that AI recommends when someone searches best realtor in city, right? How do I become the agent that AI recommends when someone searches best realtor in city? It used to be when Google, right? How would I rank on Google? And simply, it's a 5-step framework. So when ChatGPT was coming out, it wasn't really citing a lot of Google. And then obviously Google's AI engine Gemini was like, well, let us fill that gap. And so now Google has become a pretty strong source with regards to as a cited source, but it's not the only thing. So number 1 is your Google business. Fill it out 100%. It is crazy. There are companies out there like RealGrader, who's a good buddy of mine, owns that company. What they'll do is they'll do a free professional audit on your Google business page, all of your social media to ensure everything is working well together. It's got to make sure, Google has to make sure that everything that exists online is what it looks like on Google business page. So fill it at 100%. And you got to treat your Google business page like you do your social media. You got to post in it weekly, whether it's ads, whether it's products, your Calendly links, everything's got to play together. Respond to every single Google review. It blows my mind. It blows my mind when I look at other real estate agent websites and their GBP, and there are no responses to your clients and your advocates just singing your praises. You got to respond. Google wants to ensure that you're playing in their sandbox. You got to treat it like a social account, and AI reads it and scrubs it. Number 2 are the keyword reviews. So one of the things that we do here is after every successful transaction, we'll send an email out to our clients with highly searchable keywords to our marketplace. And so If our clients are too busy to send a review, we'll literally send them an email template to be like, hey, you can just copy and paste this, right? And maybe change a couple of the words and maybe add a couple of your experiences. And then you can just post it online. Coach clients to mention your city and the neighborhood in the review. And that is important, right? That all goes to like, you know, Google's ability. Obviously, you can geotag, but they do a phenomenal job with regards to just making sure that you are geo relevant on Google. AI reads those exact phrases as trust signals. Hyper local content. This is huge, right? So we heard so much around blog posts, and yes, you should have blog posts on your websites, videos, social posts that answer those real local questions. If no one else is doing it, you kind of win by default with that hyper local content. NAP is an acronym. It stands for name, address, phone. I'll say it again. NAP, name, address, phone. This must be identical everywhere online. Inconsistency confuses the AI crawlers and kills your ranking, right? So if you have old information on your Facebook, old information on your LinkedIn, AI has a tough time kind of putting everything in a neat, fine package, right? The next one, ask your last 5 closed clients to update their Google review with your city plus neighborhood name. It's a free AI SEO, right? And that's a quick win that we could do just by reaching out to our database. Second question I get asked, and again, if you have questions, throw them in the chat because I'll answer everything in real time today. The second most commonly asked question that I receive is, how do I create hyperlocal content that gets cited in ChatGPT, Perplexity, Gemini? Here's the framework. Title like a search. Your title for your content should be what you know people are searching for. So, for example, is it a good time to buy in Toronto right now? That is the title of your content. Write the exact phrase someone types into these AI search engines. Use real data. And like my good friend Sharon always talks about, proof over promise. Proof is in the real data. So absorption rate, average DOM, days on market, list to sale ratio, AI cites data rich sources over opinion pieces every time. I want you to highlight that, asterisk that, make that embedded into your brain. AI right now cites data rich sources over opinion pieces every single time. If you're if you're an agent in Toronto, you should be reading the market watch tables like it's the Bible. You should be able to scrub 8 to 10 salient key points that you can talk about at a high level. If you do this consistently, AI will reward you for this. Publish on your site. AI crawls websites, not just Instagram captions. I'll say it again. AI crawls your website, not Instagram captions as of yet. Content that only lives on social will never get cited for right now. Update your old posts. You guys have a lot of great content on your social media, your website. Some of it is outdated. Go back and just make it current. Current data outperforms a brand new one. Recency signals authority to AI engines, right? 600-word post per month, 12 pieces a year that compound and rank forever. That's your whole strategy. I'll say it again. 600-word post per month. And you might say, oh my gosh, that's so much. Use AI to support you in this. 12 pieces a year, so that's one a month. That compounds and ranks forever. That's a great strategy with regards to this. Leads and follow-up. If you missed one of my previous YouTube Live masterclasses, go back and watch it because we gave a step-by-step rockstar system SOP around how to follow up without being too pushy or too salesy with leads. So leads and follow-up. This is section number 2. That could get a lot of questions around leads and follow-up. First question I always get is this: how do I get better leads, not just more leads? Are you with me on this? How many of you are watching and listening? How do you get better leads, not just more leads, right? When I started off the journey of building a team, I made a commitment that I wasn't going to give you any new agent a lead from the team from me after the first year. During the first year. And the reason for that is because giving leads is actually the easiest thing that I could do as a team lead with agents on this team. It's literally there's no value added there. I'm literally just putting money to it. Here's a list of 3,000 leads. Go call it with this script, hammer it out. That's not really showing people how to do the business, be proficient in the business. It's really about how to qualify the best leads possible who already have their hands up and are going to make the commitment moving forward with you. So, how do I get better leads? Not just more leads. Four-step approach. You got to niche down. The agent who specializes, the agent who specializes in a particular neighborhood, move up buyers. So the agent who specializes in Toronto, move up buyers, is magnetic. Specificity attracts the right people and repels the wrong ones. I'll tell you this right now. I did a talk a couple of years ago around being a generalist or a specialist. And I still remember this line. Generalists get punished, specialists get paid. I'll say it again. If you're a generalist in real estate, you're getting punished right now. You know it and I know it. However, if you have a niche market and you've been a specialist, that is magnetic. You're getting paid. Specificity attracts the right people and repels the wrong one. What about content that pre-qualifies? If your video is how to sell a $700,000 home in Brampton, everyone who watches is already a qualified seller. Let content do the filtering for you. And that's what I learned very early on my social media journey. No, I'm not for everyone. I don't want to be for everyone. But for the people that have followed me on the social media journey, know what I'm about. And when they put their hand up or they DM or they send me a message, they already have qualified themselves to work with me. And I love that. What about better intake questions? And I want you to focus in on this because one of the things that I hear, or one of the things that I've noticed, observed throughout my entire career are agents' lack of questions. And I'll get specific around this, your lack of questions that guide to the common objective. The level of your questioning that guides a client to the common objective of either buying, selling, investing, renting, whatever the case may be. Agents need a lot of work and support on that. So, what about this? Are you working with another agent? And what's your timeline? In the first 60 seconds, this filters out 80% of time wasters. Now, if you think, hey, are you working with another agent is too pushy? What about this question instead? Hey, have you written an offer on a property that you've seen in the past 30 to 60 days? Because chances are, if they've done that, they most likely have signed a BRA as well. What about the SOI first? I like this one. Your database has the highest intent leads you'll ever have. I'll say it again. Your database has the highest intent leads you'll ever have. Most agents ignore them while chasing expensive strangers. And I'm going to do a little bit of a deep dive in this because you're going to say expensive strangers. I don't get that. What I mean by that is most of the online lead gen tools, it's very cheap to actually get the lead, the funnel of the lead to get it in. It could cost dollars, maybe like 5, 10, 20 bucks. But the cost per acquisition of an actual client, you're talking in the hundreds of dollars, if not almost $1,000 per acquisition of a client. And that is expensive in business. What about this one? How do I convert online leads who go cold after the first message? This is probably one of the top 3 questions I get asked all this time. Steve, how do I get those leads who've gone cold after the first or second message? All right, I like this one. Here's the framework, right? Here is the framework. Why do they ghost you? Let's start there. Why have they ghosted you? Well, they probably registered at 11 p.m., 3 a.m. in the morning, and it's been on a whim. And your first reply was transactional, not human. They felt like a lead, not like a person. Are you with me on that? Did you treat them like a transaction instead of like a human being? The 5-minute rule is this, and I'm going to say probably not even the 5-minute rule, probably more like the 2-minute rule. Speed to lead. Respond within minutes of registration. Speed is the number 1 conversion factor on online leads. Nothing else comes close. This isn't just particular to real estate. Speed kills businesses. The lack of speed, the lack of execution in a timely fashion kills businesses. And I've said this before. I'm not the strongest agent, but I'm one of the quickest agents. So the speed to lead, executing lightning quick has helped me to get to where I'm in the business right now, all day, every day. You look at all of the major gurus, all of the successful business people, the agents, consistency right across the board consistently. They talk about speed. Now, you got to learn how to ask one question, not 3, not 5. Never ask 3 questions at once. I'll repeat that again. Never ask 3 questions at once. It's one question. Give them something valuable before you ask for anything. One question, full stop. And I know some of you watching and listening, you're like, well, what is it, Steve? Give us the script. Don't worry. Don't worry. You know I got you. The reframe is this. You sent information when they needed a conversation. Change that one thing and your conversion rate changes overnight. I'll say that again. The reframe is this. You sent someone information when all they were looking for was a conversation. Change that one thing and your conversion rate changes overnight. Absolutely. This is spot on. Not information. They wanted conversation. And here you go. Here's the script. Hey, Sedge, I know the timing might not be right just yet, and that's totally fine. I just wanted to reach out personally because Richmond Hill is actually moving pretty fast right now, and I didn't want you to miss anything. That's the FOMO. No pressure at all. This is the empathy part. Just curious. Are you thinking more about buying this year or still in the research phase? Screenshot this, practice this, role play this. This one is a heavy hitter script. This one works. This completely brings down someone's defenses. It doesn't make this seem like a transaction or salesy, and you're treating them like a human, right? The first line is really important. This is what brings down the defense. Hey, name, I know the timing might not be right or just yet. That removes the salesy, the pressure around that. That one is huge, right? Marlon reaches out, says, love that. The value isn't the information, it's the conversation. Man, you are bang on. Mad props out to Marlon. Love that. The value isn't the information, it's the conversation. You got it, Marlon. You got it. Okay, moving on. What about this question? What's the best follow-up sequence that doesn't feel spammy? Right? Are you with me on this? Now, most of you agents watching and listening and watching even after the fact, listening after the fact, you don't follow up because number one, you probably don't have an SOP around that, a standard operating procedure. Number two is you feel like you're going to be spammy. You're going to feel spammy if all you look at that lead as is a transaction instead of potentially a conversation like Marlon talks about. Now, here's the five-step sequence per day. Day one is this. Personal text only. One question, no pitch, no links, no listings, just human. Now go back to our previous episode where I shared with you the Stephen Kim Group SOP around follow-up. It is spot on. It is bang on. Take that, throw into Claude, Gemini, ChatGPT, and make it yours. Day one, just a personal text, just one question, no pitch, no links, no listings. It's just a human, just a conversation. The day three is this. Hey, it's just thought of you. Holmes and Markham are getting multiple offers again. Market insight, no ask. Okay, that's a huge one. There's no ask there. So day one, no ask. Day three, no ask. This is just eliciting a conversation. Day seven, right? The third touch point, a relevant blog post to where they're at in their journey. Their buyer, seller, renter, investor, a recent blog post. Why not a video breakdown of the blog post or a neighborhood stat? Zero ask again. All you're doing is you're building trust and authority. I'll say that again. You're building trust and authority. You'll realize the first three follow-ups, what haven't I done yet? I haven't asked them for anything. And that's a huge maybe pattern interrupt for some of you watching and listening. Because what's the first thing you want to do is you want to ask. The second thing you want to do, you want to ask. The third thing you want to do is you want to ask. You'll realize I haven't asked you anything in the first three touch points because I'm just building trust and I'm building authority. And that's different. And that's different. And I can speak from experience. When I do this with leads, the first thing people say is when I get them on the phone is like, hey, you know what? I just want to say you're different, Steve. You're different. You didn't spam. You weren't asking for this. You just were trying to elicit a conversation. The fourth touch point is this. Hey, I just helped find a buyer, something off market before it hits Zillow, House Sigma, Realtor.ca, whatever the case may be. Wanted you to know that's possible for you too. Social proof. Send them that. Day 30 plus, the fifth touch point is just a market update. One story, one soft CTA, stay in their orbit, stay in their radar, right? You want to kind of get ahead of them before they ask anything, but you can do this because you've shared a ton of knowledge and insight. Live question coming in from Sedge Park. He says, how do you handle buyers who ask for a kickback? Oh, I love this one. And we do this a lot with the team as we role play this one. Number two, how do you handle sellers who are giving pushback on a much needed price reduction? Okay, those are two big ones. So let's do this. I'm going to answer number one right now, Sedge, and I'm going to answer number two at the very end, if that's okay. So number one is, how do you handle buyers who ask for a kickback? Simply, we do this. If you've been following long enough, or you've been been following my journey, every objection I handle is always a question, right? So number one, I'm going to repeat the objection back to you. So number one, I'm going to start this way. Say, hey, so Sedge, you know, Sedge, let me get this clear. What you're looking for is you're looking for like a cash rebate, or you're looking for a commission kickback on closing, correct? Because I want us to be on the same page of this objection. He can say, yeah, yeah, I had a previous realtor who used to give me a kickback or a cashback, whatever the case may be. Okay, amazing, amazing. Now, Sedge, let me ask you this question. When it comes to one of the most, important financial decisions, life decisions you're going to make in your life, what's the single greatest quality you're looking for in that realtor who's going to help you find that beautiful home at a price that works for you, at a timeline that is right on for you, and conditions you're looking for? And then you stop. You stop talking. Silence is the power move here. Because I can tell you this with absolute confidence: 10 times out of 10, the single greatest quality is never going to be the agent that gives the biggest kickback. I'll say that again. Their single greatest quality as a buyer is going to be this: I want someone that I trust. I want someone that has market knowledge and insight. I want someone that's got a reputable brand. I want someone that got stats and proof that they're a heavy hitter, full-time agent. They got a lot of transactions under their belt. In 16 years, when I've asked this question, I've never had a single client ever say the single greatest quality I'm looking for in a buyer to help me in this major life transition is the size of the kickback that I get. And there, you just crush the objection. But remember this: once you ask that question, you got to stay. The first person the first person that talks, unfortunately, is the one that loses leverage in that question. And so you as an agent, you got to stop talking. If it's a minute, if it's 5 minutes, it's 10 minutes, I don't care. You do not talk. You let that question marinate in their brain. Jenny has some questions coming in. What is your number one question do you think that makes all the difference in the first initial call with the cold lead? And that's an easy one, Jenny. Treat them like a conversation, like a human, not a transaction. So things like, hey, how long you've been looking for? Hey, have you been pre-approved? Hey, what's your budget? That's a transaction. That's a transaction. What about this question instead? Right? What about this question instead? Love it. Share with me. What's your top 3 reasons why you're looking in that neighborhood? That's not a transaction. That's getting to know someone, right? So share with me what's been the greatest challenge for you so far in the home searching process, the home buying process. That's not a transaction. I want to know how you're feeling. How's it going? Right? So the single greatest flaw I see is how agents treat the first intake as a transaction, not as a conversation like Marlon talked about. Second question Jenny is asking: knowing what you know now, what is the number one thing you would start and stop doing if you could restart your career? That's a big one. That's a huge one. But it's an easy one for me. I'll say this right now. Number one is, if I could go back in time and restart my career, I would get on a coaching first team. I would get on a coaching first team. And you're going to say, well, what does that mean? What I mean by that is that it's a team that heavily focuses on coaching their agents, not just any team that's going to give a ton of leads. That's the easiest thing to do. I would get on a coaching first team. That would have accelerated my career exponentially. It literally would have taken 10, 20 years of real estate knowledge and insight and hacks into the first few years of my real estate career. All day, every day, I would go back and I would do that. What would I stop doing right now? That's an interesting one. Because personally, right now, everything that I am doing is working. But if, as a new agent, what would I stop doing? I would say this: stop comparing your journey with someone else's journey. Right. And I know that's kind of fluffy and that's kind of cliched to say, but comparison is the thief of joy. Comparison is the uh, thief of joy. So as an agent early in your career, maybe even 10, 20 years into your career, I would say stop comparing your journey with other people. We don't know the battles that other agents are dealing or handling or going through right now. Your journey is unique to you. Do the 3 to 5 things daily And I can promise you, you will continue to have an explosive year after year, regardless of the market. Now you're going to say, well, what are the 3 to 5 things? The 5-5-5 rule, right? Call 5 new people, follow up with 5 new people, and then do 5 posts, right? Social media posts. Go on 1 appointment a day. Make sure you go on 1 to 2 listing appointments every week, right? Make sure that you're studying the market watch tables. Make sure that you're role playing once a week. Those are the things that consistently are going to drive the engine forward. Andrew Mercado says, how do you become the agent clients trust emotionally during uncertain markets? Oh, that's a good one. I love that one. Not just the agent who provides information. It's a really valid point because a lot of agents are like, how do I build authority and trust? And I'll tell you this right now. Trust is built on when you reach out to agents, sorry, I just stopped sharing screen. Um, when you Sorry, that threw me off a little bit. Sorry, I just got a Post-it note saying stop sharing screen. I'm just live right now, so I'm going to keep doing my thing. How you build trust. How you build trust is give them the good news, give them the bad news. So one of the quickest ways I've been able to build trust with my own personal database and sphere is this. People that bought at the height of the market, yeah, they're a little bit underwater right now for some of them right now. But I'm going to hit you with the bad news, the good news, all news, because it doesn't matter. So even if I'm sending it a home equity health check right now, and I did one in March, and there are people that are like 80,000, below from the height of the market, over 100,000 below from the height of the market, I'm still sharing that news with them. And I think we as agents fear that because they're going to blame us for that. They don't blame me for anything because when I sit down with them, I want to know what that timeline is going to look for. So, Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, you're looking to purchase a property. Share with me, how long do you foresee yourself living in this property for or this home for? So they'll tell me, I'm thinking of being in for like 8, 10, 12, 15, 20 years, whatever the case may be. So my clients that bought in 2022 and I'm sending them a CMA in 2026, they're not even looking to sell anymore. Sorry, they're not thinking about selling. But I am hitting them with the fact to be like, yeah, you bought at 2 million. Now the property is 1.92. There's 80,000 of negative equity. Good news, bad news. It's the quickest way of building trust. And then it's reframing them to be like, you know what, remember when we sat and we talked about this and you shared with me that you're not looking at selling in 10 years. It's my job to always keep you well informed with what's happening in the market. That means the good, the bad, the ugly. So, Andrew, I would say do that. That builds trust and authority really, really quick, hitting people the good, the bad, the ugly. Okay, getting back into it. Client conversations. This is a big one. And you know me, I love my scripts. I love my conversations. What's the one question that unlocks every hesitating client? Pay attention to this one. This is a huge hack. What's the one question that unlocks every hesitating client? Here's the 4-step approach. The question is this: what's your biggest hesitation about moving? What's your biggest hesitation about buying? What's your biggest hesitation around investing? What's your biggest hesitation around selling? They're going to tell you. You got to ask it directly. Mr. and Mrs. Seller, hey, apart from price, and this is the question that I ask every single listing appointment. Mr. and Mrs. Seller, apart from price, can I ask, what might be your biggest hesitation around selling? So I know price, that's a huge, huge hesitation. Apart from price, is there anything else? And guess what? Now that they share it with me, I become a killer on the listing appointment because I know the one major objection I need to handle apart from price for me to get that listing. Use it. It works. Most agents talk past the real objection because they never surface it. Just get to the point, surface it, and then do a deep dive in it. Then stay quiet. And this is where a lot of agents struggle. After you ask, please, agents, stop talking. The client will tell you exactly what's in the way. Silence is a tool. You got to use it. Practice this. And you're saying, well, I'm not really good at it. Get good at it. Go find a role play partner. Go find a stranger. I don't care. Use your kid. Practice it. Try to be silent. Actually, that would be amazing. Try being silent with your kid, right? When they're complaining or doing something versus just responding all the time. The fourth part is don't overcome. Your job is not to overcome the objection. It's to acknowledge it, surface it, validate it, then help them see it differently. That's the reframe. Your job isn't to overcome the objection. It's to acknowledge it, validate it, then help them see it differently. What would have to be true for you to feel confident moving forward? This is the follow-up. What would have to be true for you to feel confident moving forward? This reveals the exact thing they need to feel safe. And a client that feels safe is always going to move forward with you. That's a big one. Use these scripts because these are absolutely well worth it. And trust me, they work. What about something like this? After they shared with you their hesitation, hey, I completely understand. That's me getting to their page. You'll realize a lot of my objection handling, it starts and leads with empathy first. Hey, I completely understand. A lot of my clients felt the same way before we started. Can I ask? There's the question. If you've been following me for any amount of time, you know my objection handlers are always questions. Can I ask, what would have to be true for you to feel confident moving forward? I'm going to say this in the exact tone. Hey, I completely understand that. And a lot of my clients felt the same way before we started. Pause. Can I ask, what would have to be true for you to feel confident moving forward? And as I do this, I even leaned in towards the mic. I'm leaning in. I want them to feel safe. What about this one? I hear this a lot. Hey, how do I handle the I'm just browsing response, right? I'm just browsing. Here's the approach. They're sharing with you it's a boundary. It's a boundary. Just browsing is not a rejection, it's a test. They want to know if you'll be pushy. The correct answer is don't be pushy. Honor and pivot. Acknowledge it fully, then give them a reason to keep talking. One low pressure offer of value, if that's all you need. You're not looking to close, you're looking to prolong the conversation. Ask them for permission. The goal is not to close them on the spot, it's to get permission to follow up. One yes opens the door. And Jenny told me about this. BAMFAM. It's an acronym. BAMFAM. I want you to write it down and grain it into your brain. BAMFAM, which stands for book a meeting from a meeting. So every appointment that I've gone on at the very end, it's a follow-up appointment that I've booked, right? So BAMFAM. Your goal is not to close them on the spot. It's to get permission to follow up. The just browsing people, they buy. They just need longer. I'll say that again. The just browsing people, they always buy. They just need a little bit more guidance and a little bit longer to make the decision. Stay in their orbit without pressure. Use their timeline. Meet their motivation. What about something like this? Hey, that's completely fine. This is the script for I'm just browsing. Hey, that's completely fine. Honestly, that's how most of my best clients started. Makes them feel good because you see them as a best client. No rush at all. The market in Etobicoke has been doing some interesting things lately, though. Are you open to me sending you a quick update so you have a better picture when you're ready? The "Are you open" frame is really powerful, really, really important. No one completely shuts themselves off and says, "No, I'm not open." No, everyone wants to stay open. That is a powerful script that works all of the time. Strategy and prospecting. I'm going to go quick through these ones. Should I focus on SOI and referrals or lead generation? Which has a better SOI or ROI right now? We know that the SOI will always have a better ROI than lead gen. So if I just go through here, the cold lead math, cold leads 2 to 3% conversion rate, and that's if you're good. Most agents are around 1% conversion. You're spending anywhere $50 to $200 per lead, and the cost per acquisition of an actual client could be into the hundreds, if not over $1,000. This is a 6 to 18-month nurture cycle. It's expensive, it's slow, and it's low trust. Low trust. This is not low-hanging fruit. This is high-hanging fruit. SOI math. If I work my SOI, there's a 40 to a 60% conversion rate if I'm giving them something of value. There's a zero acquisition cost unless you're doing gifts and pop buys, client events. Then there's a little bit of a cost. There's a much shorter cycle here, and this is the higher ROI lead that you'll have forever because every lead here you can ask for referral, and this is how it grows really, really quick. Here's the 5-5-5 rule. Call 5 past clients today, text 5 warm leads today, connect with 5 sphere contacts. And this is every single week. Don't do it every week. Do it every single day. Do this before you spend any money on online lead gen because you're going to put money in online lead gen. You're going to get a bunch of leads, and guess what? You're going to do nothing with those leads. And you're going to be right back at square one, except you're going to be hundreds, if not thousands of dollars out of pocket. Call 5 past clients today, text 5 warm leads today, and connect with 5 people in your sphere every single day. Make me a commitment. Do this for just the next 5 days, right? And prove me wrong that this doesn't work. This is a big one, and this is really timely here. How do I get buyers off the fence in a buyer's market? This is very timely. If you're an agent tuning in from Toronto, GTA, if you're tuning in from, I'm going to say Canada, how do you get buyers off the fence in a buyer's market? Here's the 4-step approach. The enemy. In a buyer's market, the enemy isn't competition, it's inertia, it's momentum. Buyers think waiting gets them a better deal. You and I both know there is the cost of waiting. What does it look like? Show them, give them that proof. The carrying cost script. What about this one? Every month you wait, you're spending X in rent with zero equity. You'd be ahead in 18 months, even if the market dips slightly. Real urgency here. Hey, this property price reduced twice. They're now getting showings, right? Agent shared with me, most likely an offer's coming through. That's real urgency. That's not an opinion. That's data. That's facts. Use real data. Fake pressure destroys trust. Real data builds it. You're going to say, well, how would I do that, Steve? Take a screenshot of the broker-based showing times and be like, hey, we have a showing on Sunday at 2:30. Look at how many showing blocks are already booked off for Saturday and Sunday and Monday and Tuesday. Screenshot it and send it to your client to be like, hey, I'm not joking around here. We have a showing time on Sunday, but look at all of the showing time slots that are already filled up. I'm telling you, this one's moving quick, right? That creates urgency because that's real data, not fake pressure. What about this one? You said you wanted to be settled before school starts. Hey, we got 8 weeks, we got 12 weeks, we got 16 weeks. Let's map out what this actually means for your timeline and start them. They're looking for the guide right now. Be the guide. The guide wins. I'm going to go really, really quick through these ones. Does cold calling still work in 2026? It 100% does. It works. Get rid of the generic. Are you thinking of selling? Give them something of value. A great opener is, hey, I just sold a home in your street last month, 3 months ago, above asking or at this price. I have 2 buyers that missed out, right, who are still looking in your area. Would you be open to having a conversation? You notice what I didn't say. Would you be open to selling or listing? Would you be open to a conversation? Best targets are this: the expireds and the FSBOs. They've already decided to move. There's a lot of the friction is lower. You just have to prove a different system of how you're going to get the job done. Expireds and FSBOs all day, every day, especially if you've been in the Toronto GTA market the past, like I'm going to say, 18 months. The mindset. Goal of cold call number 1 is call number 2. That's the BAM fam. I'll say it again. The goal of call number 1 is to get call number 2, not a listing appointment. You're starting a conversation like Marlon talked about, not closing a deal. 20 to 30 dials per session. Does door knocking still work? The verdict is just yes. I'm just going to say that. Go back and watch this. This is going to be on YouTube. I'm going to post it later today. And look at the 4-step process here. It works, but most agents abandon it because they've done it once or twice or thrice times, and they say, this sucks, it doesn't work, it's too much work, and then they quit. I'll tell you right now, if you're an agent that's door knocking and you've been doing it consistently, you're laughing right now because there's no competition. I take a look at Sedge Park, crushing it in his farm. There's no competition. His only competition is himself. You know, as cliched as that is, he knows it works and he's dominating his farm. Make sure you check out Sedge as well. He's got some great content on social media. The combo move is this right at the bottom: knock offline, connect on social. So get offline, connect them on social, have them follow your journey on social so they get to see who you are when you're not just in front of them, the kind of that digital resume. Should I focus on paid leads or organic? Paid all day, every day. I'm not going to get into that. Oh, sorry. Organic all day, every day, right? Because I know this. Most agents don't do organic leads because they have a fear of the phone of the people that already know, like, and trust them, or a fear of the door of people that already somewhat know, like, and trust them. They would rather talk to a complete stranger, follow up and push and run and try to deliver value with a complete stranger versus someone they already know, like, and trust, which to me is the worst business decision ever. Think of Apple. Apple's number 1 customer is a repeat customer. Did you know that? It's not a new customer. It's a repeat customer. So if you look at Apple's advertising, they talk about the new phone, the new AirPods, the new this, that, whatever, of why it's better than the old one you have. Not of like, oh, this is better than a Samsung Galaxy. They don't do that. They say this is the next generation of iPhone. It has this, this, and this. They're speaking to the clients that already have the iPhone. They are a super successful business model because they've understood that going after their repeat clients is their business model. As an agent, as a top producing agent, If you've been in this for however many years, you know your best source of business are people that already know, like, and trust you. So stop paying for the cold online leads. Go after your organic clients, your SOI, your database. Another live question coming in. Let me show this on stage. Emmy says, how do you make door knocking around an open house worth the time if it's not a farming area? How do you turn those conversations into future opportunities? And oh, this is a great question, Emmy. I love, love, love this. So on the team, it is mandatory. Every new listing, we must door knock the neighborhood before the open house, before the first round of public open houses. So how do you make this worth time if it's not a farming area? It's not a farming area yet, because I can share with you this. Most agents never door knock for the open house. So number one, you're just doing something different. On the team here, we do something called the neighbors open house. So what that means is if we've launched a property on a Wednesday, we're going to door knock on a Thursday for a neighbors open house this weekend. So it's not like, hey, just listed. Want to let you know we just listed your neighbor's house. Hate that. Hey, just wanted to share with you, right? If you haven't seen already, we've listed 123 Main Street. And what we're doing is we're inviting all of the neighbors only to a neighbors only open house. Have you heard of this? And they say, no, what is this? Well, it's a neighbors exclusive opportunity or time for you to come and preview this home, because what we know is it's usually the neighbors that know of buyers looking to get in there into the neighborhood, right? Whether it's a family member, a coworker, whoever the case may be, it's typically the neighbors that will bring in that buyer. So this is your opportunity to come preview the house and maybe let your uncle know, or your cousin, or your coworker, hey, great property, send it over to them. Amazing. So it's something of value because it's something different, right? So I want you to know every open house is the possibility, is the gateway to a new farm, Emmy. I want you to get in that mindset. So it is mandatory on this team that every new listing is we get a door knock session right before the public open house. How do you turn those conversations into future opportunities instead of just invitations? Great. Deliver value, right? So as the neighbors come through, they fill in their information, and we ask them. We don't even ask them. We say, hey, just to let you know, we're going to send you a current market update every 3 to 6 months. Not, hey, are you okay with that? No, that's what you're just going to get. Now, once we sell the house, we then go back and we share something called the sold story, not just the sold price, because everyone has access to the sold price. We share them the sold story. Hey, this was the 75-step approach that it took for us to get your neighbor's home sold. Now, it might not be 75, it might be 5, 8, whatever. Everyone knows the price. No one knows the story, and that's going to be your value add. So it's a great question, Emmy, on that. Okay, moving forward. Listing agent says this is a big one. I'm going to end off with this one. Sorry for going over time, but the Ask Me Anything episode, I love these ones. I love answering questions in real time. I get this question asked a lot, especially in negotiation. Listing agent says this, buyer's agent says this. Listings agent's bottom line is this, buyer's top line is this, and there's a gap. How do you close the delta? How do you close the delta? This is a good one. What about this? 4 steps. Bottom lines are often opening positions dressed as final ones. I'll say that again. Bottom lines, you know this. If you've been negotiating for any amount of time, you know they're just opening positions. They're not the final bottom line, draw a line in the sand. They're not. Don't treat either numbers as fixed until you've tested it. I'll say that again. My top line is this. My bottom line is this. Okay, I love that and I respect that, but let's see. Number 2 is the reframe. Hey, $10,000, if there's a $10,000 gap on a $500K home, that's about $45 a month on a 30-year mortgage. Show both sides what the gap actually cost them. It always looks smaller in this case. Step number 3, expand on this. Close with terms, not on price. I'll say this again. Close with the terms, not just price. Hey, we got the closing date you're looking for. We got the inclusions, right? We got the $500 rebate if there's an issue. The seller said that they're going to repair this, and this, right? Non-price terms moves deals forwards just as quick as the price does. I'll say that again. Non-price terms move deals forward just as fast as the price does. So close with the terms, not just price. Don't just perseverate on the price. The pro rule is this: never reveal your client's true bottom lines. We obviously know that. Use ranges instead. We got room here. Want to go above this? This removes all leverage. What about something like this? I'm going to leave you with this last script, right? Both parties want this deal to happen. I know that. Hey, we're $10,000 apart. I'd like to go back to my client and ask them to meet you halfway. But I want to know before I do that, if they come up an extra $5K, is that something the seller would seriously consider? Because I don't want to move forward if the answer is no, right? So what you're doing is you're kind of setting up you're setting up the offer for success, right? You're setting up the offer for success. Now, you're not telling them, hey, the buyer's coming up. You're just simply saying, hey, if I could get them that way, if I could get them to meet you halfway, is this something that your seller would accept? Because the last thing is getting a buyer up just above their top line budget, and then it getting shot down again. So do not put your buyers through that, right? Do not. That is not a good situation or an experience. Okay, that is the first episode of Ask Me Anything. Thank you so much for all of the questions I got through DM. Thank you for the live questions I got today. I want to do this maybe every couple of months, just kind of a live, authentic, raw, Ask Me Anything style YouTube live. I wish everyone all great success this coming week. Hopefully you pulled one or two nuggets that you can implement into your business right away, whether it's the 555, whether it's like give proof, niche down on data, make your AI search engines data rich, citing great sources. Oh, here's another little hack. Make sure you get onto like Reddit. Make sure you get onto, make sure you get onto Reddit if you can, because AI likes to search a lot of Reddit forum posts with regards to information, even Yelp reviews. AI searches those as well. Go where AI exists, but ultimately choose one or two things that you learned today, implement into your business, stay consistent on that. We're in the height of the spring market. Deals are moving. We had over 900 more deals in April than we did in March. So there's a big push. Deals are starting to move. Inventory's still there, but buyers are becoming more motivated. They're doing the thing that we want them to do. I want you to position yourself to be the agent of choice, not the agent of chance. For those people that are going to be at Realtor Quest next Wednesday and Thursday, make sure you come by our booth, 1204. We have a great little giveaway. I'd love to see you face to face as well. Another announcement is join me next Friday, where I have super coach Janet Miller, Tom Ferry super coach Janet Miller, who's going to be doing a live interview with me on the ultimate time management hacks for real estate agent. And then that's going to be next Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern, live on YouTube as always. Just want to say thank you so much for your time, everyone. I love you all, and I wish you great success this week. Don't forget to join me next Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern. You know the drill. Be great, be kind, everyone. Peace.